Welcome to the Prepare to Repair Show with your host, RJ Graham Plumbing's very own Steve Suarez. For the next hour, Steve and his expert guest will help take the fear out of home improvement by answering homeowner questions. Gain valuable information from Steve's 20-plus years of experience to help you save valuable time, money, and frustration on your next home repair project. Become an empowered homeowner and prepare to repair.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Prepare to Repair. I am your host, Steve Suarez, and we are sponsored today by RJ Graham Plumbing, which I really love, for obvious reasons. Today on our show, we have a special guest. His name is Steve Gansel from Need a Hand Handyman Service, who is the Southwest Choice Award winner 5 times in a row. Which is really cool because that particular award is not particular candidates that are on a ballot or any particular case. They are written in by homeowners. They're voted for, and he's very well liked. And to win it 5 times is pretty impressive. He is incorporated and insured, which is really impressive as well because a lot of handyman work is usually side work or pickup work, word of mouth, that sort of deal. So for him to have taken it to that level and made it his business and his career, it's pretty. That's a really good step to take, especially considering on this show you will hear us or myself talk about the importance, and we will emphasize the importance of getting people who are insured, incorporated, licensed, qualified, that sort of thing. So you definitely want people who are in the know that know what they're doing. And this show is for the protection of the homeowner and to give homeowners such as yourselves all the information that you need to make an educated decision, to find the right people, to get the job done. And when I say look for particular people that are licensed, insured, and things like that, I'm not knocking, and I don't mean it to sound like I'm knocking anybody that's on the side trying to make a living or do things like that. I'm emphasizing on getting people that are qualified, licensed, because when anything goes south or anything goes sideways, you as the homeowner have to protect yourself. You have to look out for you, your home, and your well-being. There's a lot of the laws that we have are made because somewhere, somehow, somebody screwed up, and it has to be sorted out. So when you have people that are incorporated, you have people that are licensed, you have people that are insured, you have people that are registered with governing bodies, and that sort of thing. If anything does happen, you have restitution. You can go to these particular channels to get some sort of restitution or to be made whole if in fact there's an issue. And then they can't hide. People cannot hide from because they have roots. They have things that are tied in that keep them from running. So you definitely want to make sure that when you're doing this, that you've got something that they got skin in the game. They've got something to lose because you as the homeowner, you're stuck with whatever they do. Once they're gone and you paid them, that's it. Then it becomes a legal wrangling trying to sue somebody. And if they have a company, they have something to lose, then you have something to go after if you have to go down that road of some sort of recourse. If it's just an individual, chances are, and you paid them cash, there's not going to be a whole lot that you can do. So you definitely want to make sure that you have somebody to do that. You want to be able to have something that you can do that you can go after. So, by having somebody who's licensed, insured, and everything, it's really good. And even if you're having like a handyman that's doing some odd jobs or doing some of the honey-do list, so to speak, and having somebody that is insured and incorporated, it just shows that, hey, I'm looking out for you to protect you as the homeowner and going to protect me. And so that's really huge. So if you're looking to reach out to us, you can get us at the preparetorepair@gmail.com. You can check out the website at preparetorepair.com or Facebook at Prepare to Repair Show. And that's Prepare, 2, Repair. You can also listen to us on podcasts, Spotify, or our YouTube channel. And you have to send us those ugly, ugly faucets. Those ugly kitchen faucets. You know, the one that you just literally hangs in the kitchen, hangs in the sink, the handles fall off. I mean, you've been home. You've been home through the pandemic. This thing has irritated you. Send us a picture of it, and for your opportunity to win a new Delta Touch 2.0 kitchen faucet. Now, this Delta Touch 2.0 kitchen faucet is one that you literally, it's perfect if you cook. If you got your hands full, you can touch with any part of your body, and it will turn the faucet on and off. And so it's definitely something to really send your pictures in to win. You can even send them over via text at 708-743-7426. So you definitely want to be able to do that. It's awesome. It's an awesome opportunity. And I made an announcement on social media that I was going to make a special announcement, a big announcement, and I'm going to get in trouble for this one, but you know what? Go big or go home. Now, what is the one thing that aggravates people more than anything besides robocalls? I mean, it really is annoying in the house. You go to take a shower, you run out of hot water. You can't stand it. It frustrates you. You have a large family. Everyone's taking a shower. You got to wait. We are going to be giving away, I would say, right around the middle to end of April. You have to listen for the exact date. We are going to be giving away a Navian tankless water heater with installation. Yeah, you heard the thud too. Yeah, that's people in the office that are going to really get mad at me. So, but this is our secret. Shh, don't tell anybody. So we're going to be giving away a Navian tankless water heater. And this is the NPE 240 and I get all my water heaters and my tankless water heaters. I get them from William F. Meyer over in Crest Hill. And got to go see those guys at the counter. They will take care of you. Just tell them that you heard about them on the Prepare to Repair show, and the guys will take care of you. And so you got to listen up for your chance to be able to win that. It is those tankless water heaters are phenomenal. I have my assistant here shaking her head at me, which means I am in some serious trouble. But you know what? You guys are listeners. You guys are you deserve it. So here we've got. I'm going to get back to our guest, Steve Gansel, who is on the line. Steve, you on?
Yes, I am. How you doing, Steve?
How are you? I am sorry to be a little bit late. I had to make the announcement about that tankless water heater, and I'm going to get myself in trouble. So can I live with you when I actually have to give that away? And people are, I got people at the homestead that are mad at me for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. I got an extra room.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. So I was just talking about, how you're, set yourself apart being with your award. And I believe you probably would have won your 6th and be working on your 7th had COVID not taken the 22nd Century Media off of there. I think you were very well liked and, have a great business. And tell me how long you've been in business with Need a Hand Handyman Service, and what made you start it?
I have been in business legally now for 13 years. Like you said before, I am incorporated. And I worked for factories for a good part of my life, and I kept on getting laid off. And I've always done handyman stuff for friends of mine. So one of my attorney acquaintances says, Steve, why don't you start your own business? And I've been on my own ever since.
Wow. How long ago was that?
2008, February of 2008, I started my business.
Wow. That's quite a long time ago. Well, 2008 was right around the time that it did a number on everybody. So, I mean,
And I was fortunate enough that it just took off, and here I am today talking to you. It's just been great for all these years, and I really enjoy what I do.
Excellent. Now, with with the work that you do, what exactly is, like, kind of walk me through, what would be some of the jobs that you get called for? I mean, that obviously you have that, I think it's on the back of your card that says the honey-do list. You handle the honey-do list. What exactly would you say consists of most of the honey-do list that you have to do?
A lot of it, believe it or not, I do a lot of picture hanging. I put things together for clients that either the husband or spouse or partner, they can do it, but they just don't have the time to do it anymore. And I work Saturdays with no extra charge so that people can enjoy their family and friends while I do the stuff that they need to get done. I've hung probably over 1,000 pictures. And I do small painting also.
Really? Okay. Well, that's good. So basically, you're pretty much covering everything. Now, in your time that you've been, you're probably the first line into a home with people calling up and they're like, okay, I have this, I have a couple issues I need to address. How many of these jobs that you have seen that turned into something that, okay, this one is something that you need to have checked out because this doesn't look good?
Probably out of all the jobs that people have called me on, maybe we could say maybe 2%. Okay. It's either too big or it's out of my realm, and then I go to our friendly page and refer one of those people.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, that's one of those things where it's like a lot of people when they're, and you've probably seen them on social media and stuff, where you got a lot of people who are, they'll take any job or whatever job's out there, they'll take it, they'll try it just to get their hands in something, and that's not always the best case. Having your niche and staying within your wheelhouse is pretty much the best way to do it. Like you said, you have a niche that you've been doing for 13 years now, right? I mean, you're getting
right.
You've been there doing it quite a while. So having that little niche and staying within it has kept you busy, even through. I would say you've been pretty busy. Even I don't know if the pandemic has made it more. I mean, giving you more.
Well,
business.
The pandemic, it was I don't mean to interrupt you. The pandemic, I was slow for 2 weeks, and that was it. And that's when it first started, and people were worried about other people coming into their homes.
Okay.
And which I understand. We didn't know what we were getting ourselves into.
Correct.
Oh. With this pandemic. So then, and I've been busy, ever since then.
Exactly. Well, now when you say
another thing is, I'm sorry, but I will not learn on my client's dime on a job. If I don't know how to do it, I'm not ashamed to say, I'm sorry. Here's so-and-so. And they can do the job for you.
I'll be honest with you, we do the same thing. I mean, we have, just because we do plumbing doesn't mean that, all of our guys know everything. I mean, that we've gone out to jobs, similar thing, where it's like, wow, this is a weird one, or haven't seen this before. So what we do is, fortunately, we have a group of guys that we can bounce stuff off of. So, or we can find the answer. We have people that we can call and so forth. So it happens with every trade in the business. You're going to run into some things that you haven't seen. And anybody who says, "Oh, well, I know everything," no, you don't. You don't. And that's when
nobody does.
No, that's when you become the scariest. Is when you think you know everything because you're not willing to take on any new information or to learn something different that will basically help you and help your clients. And that goes for different products and everything like that may come out. Some people are stubborn when it comes to that. So if you want to hold on, Steve, we're going to take a break and we'll come back, and I've got a boatload of other questions. We are back with Steve Gansel from Need a Handyman Handyman Service. And Steve, I have another question for you. I have a bunch of questions for you because you being basically the first line for homeowners that need various things done. I mean, what I wanted to ask you this, and when we talked earlier, I didn't get a chance to run this by you, but I was thinking about this with our theme from the last couple of weeks with the hot real estate market. Are you getting people to kind of giving you a call to come in and do certain things as they're preparing to, prep the house for sale, to be, for showings, things like that, like you said?
Yes, I've had some probably in the last month or so. I've had more people getting ready to put their house on the market. So they'll give me some suggestions on what they want to be done, they would like to have done, and then I would suggest to them certain items to look for their inspection, so they can pass their inspection. Also, granted, I'm not a home inspector, but I've seen enough hit lists that I can help the client out on fixing things to make it easier for the sale of the home.
Well, you could definitely point out some things that they, the obvious things that they may need that's going to assist them. And plus, a lot of houses, I mean, there's, like you said, you do some small painting, some small work where some of it may be, a couple nicks in the drywall, a couple, painting, maybe some touching up of trim, some. Right.
Make sure there's GFCIs within 6 feet of all water.
Okay.
Make sure they're still working. Because a lot of people don't realize, if they're in an older home, that they do have to have those.
Okay. And this is something that having you as the first line and then having a home inspector on the second one will definitely catch these for homeowner safety. So it's good. You can't have too many pairs of eyes when it comes to being safe.
No, not at all. That's another big thing about safety is when I walk into a home, as I'm walking through the house with the client, I'm looking up to look at their smoke detectors. And if I notice they're old, I suggest the homeowner to replace them. Any smoke detectors that is 10 years old or older should be replaced in your home.
Okay.
I'm very tough on that.
Okay. Now, what would make you, so tough on that or emphasize that amongst pretty much for the obvious reasons that it is a safety issue, but other than above other safety issues that could be happening?
Well, I was a fireman in Markham from 75 to 85, and I did see a working smoke detector go off at 2:00 in the morning and save a family of 4 or 5 people. The smoke detector melted, but it was still working.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm big on smoke detectors and changing the batteries.
Now, as far as these new models that are out there where you've got some that are hard-lined and they got batteries, and there's some out there that are dual purpose where they're smoke detectors, and I think there's carbon monoxide detectors as well. Am I wrong on those? I mean, what do you think of those products?
No. Well, a lot of the newer homes are hardwired with battery backup. And now the smoke detectors, some of the manufacturers are making smoke detectors that are 10-year maintenance free. You don't have to change the battery or anything. Just install it, and you're free to go for 10 years.
Okay. Now, you being a former fireman and being and also looking at these products and seeing these products, if you were going to recommend a particular product that you would say is one that you would have in your house, or you would recommend to your kids and for their homes, what would you say? What product would you say would be one that you would look at? If there is one.
I will not say anything about any of the companies because I personally think they're all about the same. I'm not going to knock one or say which one's better or not.
Any particular features that one would have? That, like if you're going to buy one, I get this one.
One feature is if you have a smoke detector that's close to your kitchen area, you'd want to buy a photoelectric smoke detector. It activates more towards the flame and smoke than it does to the heat.
Okay, so
because if you're opening your oven and just to put something in and your smoke detector goes off, it's one of the older style smoke detectors. That's why you go with the photoelectric. Okay. And I was told by a fire investigator from one of our area fire departments.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking that, when you have something like, say, like in my house, I have the hardwired ones, and when I have the oven, when I'm cooking, it goes off. And it's not because I'm a bad cook, so everyone could just, they could shut up on that one. It's not an egg timer for me. So,
it's probably not a photoelectric.
No, it's not. My dog goes nuts when it goes on, and it's basically from the heat. It's like I'll open the oven, like you said that you're right on the head. As soon as I open the oven, or if I have the oven open when I'm doing whatever, and it's not too far from that, it's going off of the heat on it, and it's engaging. Yes. So, and once I turn on the open, the windows or doors, or turn on the fan, the exhaust fan. It's
well, if you don't know how to change it, I know somebody.
You got a guy?
Yeah, I got a good guy.
You got to give me his number. We're gonna have to hook that up. So, but yeah, the thing is, the reason why, all joking aside on these is, it's one of those things where if it goes off all the time, people become numb to certain things. When things happen all the time, they become numb, and you never want to become numb to a smoke alarm. That's somebody must be cooked. You know what I mean? And
right, exactly.
You don't want it to be just one of those things that you hear. You want it to be something that, as soon as you hear it, that means there's something wrong. It's definitely something to look into. Which is that's why I was asking, because there's so many different products out there. I was looking for one in the aisle. I think it was the other day. I was looking there's so many different ones out there. That's why I was asking you, what about the different products that were out there? And you being a former fireman, that would be able to. Which one's this one? Not necessarily so much the manufacturers, but definitely something that this features are one, like you said about the photoelectric. But I've seen them where you have the carbon monoxide detectors in there too. And
with carbon monoxide, you need a carbon monoxide detector within 15 feet of all bedrooms, and if you have a 2-story home with a basement, it's a good idea to have one in the basement area, not too close to the furnace, and another one on the first floor. Now, a lot of the CO2 detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, are plug-ins. So you can just plug it into your outlet.
Right.
Which is good because carbon monoxide is a heavy gas.
So it's going to hover around the lower level where that would be. So
yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just a lot of people when they go there, people aren't going to know what to buy. That's the thing. They're looking at these products, and honestly, I've found that with certain things that I want to buy, you just become you're just overwhelmed with some of the products that are out there. That's why I was asking on this, and plus, with your experience as being a former fireman, that information is helpful, and it does guide them.
30 years ago.
Yeah, it gives them some at least some reference points at the worst. Look for this, look for that. Obviously, some products may have changed, but at least it's something to point them in the right direction, and that's definitely what you want to do. any information that you can get or give that is going to lead people in the right direction and point them, okay, well, this is what I've done. This is what I went through. When I was a fireman, and obviously products have changed. Do check this out. But the one thing hasn't changed is the fact that smoke detectors are needed. They do save lives, and they make sure that they are well maintained. Make sure that they're operating properly, because they could one day save your life.
Very true.
So they definitely
if they are battery operated, change them when you change your clocks.
Yes, I see right. that. I see that on a lot of firemen. The fire stations, they have that. Spring ahead, fall back, change your batteries.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's something that everybody has to do in our area. We have to change clocks, change your batteries also.
Makes sense. I mean, it definitely makes sense. I do that with when we put in battery backup systems, and what we do is I tell people, okay, if their water heater is newer, okay, when you're flushing your water heater, run the hose from your water heater, flush it every year, run it to your sump pit, unplug your primary, test your pump. This way, you're basically solving two problems at one time. And if you do it every year, this way both are going to be operating, and you don't have any surprises. So it's all part of idea. It's all part of home maintenance, and maintenance is always cheaper than huge repairs, and it saves you a whole lot. So now, what areas? What is your coverage area? Where do you go? Is there any specific areas you don't go, or or you just cover all over? Because
I'm mainly in the southern suburbs. But if someone would like me to travel, I will. But there's a mileage charge.
Okay, all right. Because I know you mentioned that you said you were in Coal City. High. Yeah, it has gone up quite a little bit in recent months or days, I should say. Now, I know you said that you went and did some work in Coal City. Is that one that would be fall into your service area, or is that something that would have been a little bit further?
That was a bigger job. So it was actually worth my time. I was there for hours.
Okay.
Because a lot of my jobs, except for painting, a lot of times I'm only in the house anywhere between a half hour to 2 or 3 hours.
Really? So I would think with all this stuff going on, you'd be there longer.
It's funny though, with the honeydew list they have, since the person's not exactly sure how to do it. And granted, I'm no expert, but I've done it enough that I could just breeze through all these lists for the client. I'm not just going to say, oh, this here is going to take 3 or 4 hours and it only takes an hour. I don't play that type of game with my clients.
Right.
I spend their money like mine. I don't have any.
Well, you make the job is.
I'm very truthful. I sleep all at night.
Well, the job is exactly what it is. It's you're not going to make it stretch it out, and this is my only job for today, so I'm going to make this, instead of being a hour job, I'm going to stretch it out. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show. I mean, it's giving people information that. So they know where to look for some of this. So they know where to look to get information on a specific job. They could reach out to the show and say, you know what, I've got a job that I have coming up, and I was told it was going to be this, this, and this. And with having the guests that we have, we can tap some resources to say, does this sound right? I mean, and they can get some information on that, which is really helpful, because no one wants to see me as a plumber. I mean, I may be a nice guy, but nobody wants to see me. They'll wave to me at the grocery store, and that's that's about the the max they want to see.
That's the good thing,
right? But they don't want to see me there because then that means there's an issue, and they want to make sure. And when it's all done, they want to get the job done, but they want it done at a reasonable price, and they don't want it done where they feel like they got ripped off, and that is the one of the most, I would say, the worst feelings is if you are getting basically ripped off in your own home, and you want to be able to give as much information to avoid that because it shouldn't happen to anybody. And
that's why. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's why a lot of my clients, or anybody that's on the air right now, if they want to call or text me, they can, and I will gladly give them the information that I know. Maybe they can. I've even tried to troubleshoot things for my clients over the phone, so they wouldn't have to use me. But that's all right. That's what I'm here for.
Exactly.
I'm here. Granted, I'm in business to make money, but if I could save my clients money, this is good also.
Well, I actually, you've seen over the years what I've done on Facebook as far as just giving out information. And
oh, yeah.
I am a proponent of, I'll give you information. If it's within your wheelhouse and something that you can tackle, by all means, have at it and do what you need to do. I'm going to give you information so you don't hurt yourself and so you don't make things worse. But, and if I can be of assistance, please give me a call. I mean, I'd love for everybody to call me, and I'd love to, be able to help everybody out. But that's not realistic. I'm going to say my company is the greatest, but we're not flawless. We're not perfect. We strive to be perfect, and that's why we have the money-back guarantee. We have the fixed or it's free guarantee, because I want people to know that I'm not there just to show up. My guys are not there just to show up. My guys are there to solve the problem. That's where we're there.
Exactly.
That's what we're there for, and to give people information. If we can help them, great. I mean, I have no problem with that, and it's just I try to combat, and you see that too. Is a lot of people getting information from somebody who may not know a whole lot, and by the time I get to it on certain things, you've probably seen it too. If they wouldn't have touched it, it would have been a lot less work and a lot cheaper to do than when you're there now having to do it. You know what I mean? If they would have left it alone and let you do it, you would have had a lot cheaper price than what it is after taking the advice of somebody who really didn't know and trying it themselves. And where if they would have got the right information, it would have helped them. So, I mean, you doing what you're doing, helping them out is, I do the same thing. And that's one thing that you definitely want to, it's a plus. It's a plus and it's value, and it shows the character of who you are and what kind of business you're running. Like I said, 'cause I do the same thing.
Yeah. You have to be honest. I work too hard to get my name out there and want to keep it that way. That's why I can't find employees.
It is hard to find good people, and it's been a tough road for me finding decent people. But I'll tell you that the team that I got, they've done really well. They're top of the line, and and we're constantly learning. We're constantly evolving and adjusting things as we go along, because if you don't, you won't be around very long. Steve, we're going to pick this up after the break. We're going to take a break for a minute, and if you hold on and bear with us, we'll be back. We are back with Steve Gansel with Need a Handyman Service, and we were just talking about how to treat customers. And you know what? I love what you're going with on that, Steve, because like I said, that's what we do. And at the end of the day, we're here to help people and get the job done. Yeah, make a little bit of money in the process, but you know what? It's making money the right way. You know what I mean?
Yes, honest way.
And that's the way to do it. No, you're not going to be a millionaire, but you know what? Like you said, you sleep at night. You can look at your kids, grandkids, and know that you're doing the right thing. And that's what I do. I mean, I look at myself in the mirror and I know that I'm doing the right thing. And also the way we price stuff is I price it to justify what we're doing. Here's why we're doing it. This is what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and what we can expect from that particular repair that we're doing. And it's pretty much straightforward. I mean, and I answer any question. Transparency is the key. When you do what you're doing, do you often find yourself that you have an audience, like people watching you and watching what you're doing?
Sometimes, a lot of the women that are handy, they like to watch me. And a lot of times I'll go, all right, this is what you have to do this. This is the way you have to do it. And, anything, granted, I'm in both in business to make money, but if I can help a client out and show them how to do something that I'm doing now, if they want to change another light fixture later, go ahead. Just be safe about it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Somebody taught me. I'm not ashamed to try to teach somebody else if I know how to do it.
Well, that's true. See, a lot of people, I don't know if they know this, at least in the plumbing code book, is the plumbing code book allows for homestead rights. It allows people to do their own plumbing work, provided that they do it up to code. And
right.
It's when they hire out is when they is when they have to get a licensed plumber, and he has to be have all the credentials needed, the 055, or if he's working in the state of Illinois, or if he's working in Chicago, he's got to have his contractor's license with the city of Chicago, and they have to have their licensed plumbers. But a lot of people, when we do that, we do exactly what you're saying. I mean, I'll try and walk people through it. This is what it is. I mean, putting a sump pump in, it's not real complicated if you're handy. A lot of this stuff is
right.
Putting in a faucet is not real complicated if you're handy. But the one thing that really throws it for a loop, and I see this, and how many times have you run into this, is, I saw it on YouTube, and this is what they told you to do.
YouTube University.
Yep. YouTube tells you Plan A. Plan A works 1% to 2% of the time. 1% to 2% of the time, because everything goes good. It doesn't tell you what to do when. What do you do when? And that is where the experienced professional comes in, because when I go into a house, I already have a plan A, B, C, D, E. If I'm getting into F, G, H, and other areas of the alphabet, we have some problems.
Yeah, then you got to start making your phone calls to your buddies.
Exactly. I mean, I've made some calls to plumbing inspectors and people in the area. Okay, this is what I've got. This is what I got to work with, because oftentimes the problems I run into, I'm not demoing somebody's whole house to get to a pipe if I can avoid certain things, and that's one of the things that I get concerned about. I'm not going to destroy your whole house. And some plumbers out there will do that, or some people, they'll wreck the whole house as long as they can get to it, and they're like, okay, it's on you. I don't want to do that. I like to make it as painless as possible if we can. If we could destroy as little as possible, I like to do that.
Exactly.
I hate running in that. And like I said, the YouTube is, and I see people saying that all the time. YouTube it. It's like, oh boy. I get it, because YouTube is a great guide, which will give you an idea, but especially with plumbing, but in this end is right. Water is running through it. Water is one of the single most destructive forces on the planet. So that faucet that has been on there for, say, 10 years, that has had a leak and is now fused to that granite countertop, and it's not going to apply to your YouTube education there. It's going to have... No,
Mr. Sawzall's got to come out.
Yeah, and I was just actually talking about a faucet I had to do on a granite countertop, and I'm telling you, I was sweating bullets because I don't want to buy a countertop. I was nervous. I'm right. Like, I was praying that any I was praying to God to answer the phone. Please don't send me the voicemail. Help me out here, because it was rough. But I mean, I wound up getting it off, and I wound up replacing it. But you have, especially well water applications, things like that. They can it can get really sticky sometimes. So I mean, there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to home repairs. Even like I said, the stuff that you run into, even hanging pictures. I've had people who called us after they tried hanging pictures, and they've got a water leak. They shot a.
I'll pick up a picture where they're hanging. Holy camole! They hit a water line.
They hit a water line. They hit I've actually got. Don't laugh, because it's not. I mean, it's not funny, but I actually have a picture of one of my guys who replaced a copper pipe. It was a copper drain line, where it literally has 4 screws in it. Where I think they screwed a cabinet in, and there's 4 screws into this copper pipe. And what happens is it doesn't leak right away. The screws rust out, and once they rust out, that's when it starts leaking. That's why it's not something you notice right off the bat. But yeah, I've run into water lines that have gotten hit by pictures, vent lines, drain lines. Yeah, it's they're there. And I mean, honestly, it would concern me with doing that, especially with some houses that have electrical lines in Romex. There's a possibility of hitting those lines because they're not protected.
True.
That's what would make me nervous on it. But having somebody, I mean, when you run pictures and do things like that, do you check things out? Do you try to give it a once over to see what's in the area or anything like that? Any potential hazards?
Well, I have my stud finder, and a lot of the stuff I hang, if it's not that heavy, your regular picture hooks that you can buy at any big box store will work, and they're just barely pinching going past the drywall.
Okay.
So, and
I think
you're using I don't use a big hammer when I do my hanging my pictures. I just use like a little small hammer. Mm-hmm. So this way, if I hit something, I know that I hit something. Now it does one big whack.
Right.
So no, I try to be as careful as possible hanging pictures, and I prefer not to hit them in the studs because it's easier to pull the picture hanger out once they decide to change it again than have it in the stud. Right. Plus the stud. Plus, most of the time when you want a stud, it's not there, and when you don't want it, it's there.
Oh yeah.
Especially for pictures.
Absolutely, I've run into that. Well, Steve, if people want to get in touch with you and they want to reach out to you at Need a Hand Handyman Service, what is the best way to reach out to you?
I have a whole bunch of ways. I have my own business page on Facebook, Need a Hand Handyman Services. Awesome. I have a website, which is handymansteve.net. And you can see what I do, and you can email me through that. And my phone number is 815-545-9576. And you can either call or text me, and I am the only employee, so you're only talking to me. Excellent. And when I do come to your house, my van is marked. It has my name all over it, so it's not just some guy with a van working on the side. Yeah,
a white van that has no markings, all incognito. And I know your van's marked. I'm the creepy guy that left cards in your window. Playing tag, you're it. So I want to thank you for coming on and helping out, or educate our listeners and being on the show. I appreciate it, especially with this being a new show and trying to get the information out. It's greatly appreciated having you on.
It was a real pleasure and an honor. And anybody that's out there, if you just have questions, go ahead.
Oh, absolutely.
Talking is free.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. You have a good one, man.
You take care. Thank you.
All righty. I want to thank Steve for being on the show. It was very informative and great, and I really didn't know a lot about the smoke detector, so that was very informative. I have a couple announcements I want to make. One, I'd like to wish a very happy 35th birthday to my cousin, Ken Savintek, who is a Chicago fireman and a Marionette Park police officer. And I also want to congratulate my sister, Lauren Lancaster Clark, and her husband, Mike, on the new addition to their family that's coming up. Mikey and Blake are going to have themselves a little brother or sister. And, Mikey is he's a great kid. I love that little guy. So I want to congratulate them. And coming up next week, on next week's show, I have Troy Corin. He is the owner of Trojan Plumbing and plumbing inspector in Oak Lawn. And yes, I'm going to have a plumbing company on here because I like talking plumbing, and I'm not the only game in town. And there's many of us that are out there that are really good for homeowners to choose from. And there's nothing better than homeowners getting multiple views, information from multiple plumbers, especially one who is a plumbing inspector. And plus, if with him being in Oak Lawn, they've got a letter that they sent around to residents that we're going to discuss and touch on next week on Monday. And then after that, we've got on the 22nd, we have Michael Hart from Zoller Pumps. And then to finish off the month, we got Mr. Steve Fagan from Mr. Tubbs. He does bathtub, shower, and sink refinishing. So we get a lot of calls asking about that. So we got some great shows coming up, and we're booking them as we start getting to people. So getting more information out there. So if you have any questions, need any information, send us an email, send us a text, 708-743-7426. Send those ugly faucets in, and we want to pick the ugliest one out there. We're going to post it on our website, and we're also going to post it on our Facebook page. So ugly rules. So till next time, next week, thank you for listening, and God bless everybody. I appreciate all the support so far.